Hi, everyone. I am Violet Ayala. I'm the founder of City, and you're joining us today for our Monday live class. We do this every Monday, unless it's a holiday, at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It's free for our business members and our Founder Circle members. And today, I'm so excited for this conversation. So, Dr. Roopa, Chari, and I met like 2 weeks ago, and we started thinking about podcast titles and things that we could teach for our femmes. And we came up with this. I was like, oh my gosh. And then she was like, oh my gosh. And so we are putting this together for you. So I'm going to pass it on to her. If you have any questions for her, I ask that you use the chat feature because I don't want to mess up with her jam, her vibe. She's going to be presenting and sharing a lot of information for us. There might have to be a part two to this. We understand it's a lot of information that she's going to be sharing. Our goal is to be done in 30 minutes. It might go over a little bit. If you have any private questions and you're too shy to ask and you don't want anyone to see your name in the ask, direct message me, like private message me, and I will ask your question without sharing your name. So it's always anonymous. And then I ask that you keep your volume on mute just so that everyone can hear her teaching us. And I think those are all my rules. I always have like a group of like a set of rules, but I just want to make sure it's always beneficial to you all. Dr. Rupa, anything that you want me to share before you take it away?
Oh, no, it's perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Violet. Thank you so much for the invitation for actually really brainstorming this beautiful idea of talking about Ozempic, which is everywhere in the media. Everyone's talking about it now. This is such an important topic. And I love being a member of City, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this beautiful group. And thank you to Dr. Medj Jasmine for introducing me. And I've met so many beautiful women in this group. So it's great to be here. I hope to share a lot of wonderful information with you today. I'm going to be talking to you about a few different topics, but one is definitely all related to weight loss. And that was my personal journey of what I went through and then how I overcame it. So I'm going to share with you the key areas to look at for losing weight. And then I'm going to be talking to you about Ozempic, what it is, what are the benefits, what are the side effects, and you need to really be aware of these side effects. And in addition, I'm going to share with you, in case you know of any family or friends who are on this medication, what they need to know. This is critical and potentially could be life-saving. So again, and then at the end, I'm going to summarize also key steps of what you can do to be proactive for your health in weight loss and for balancing your hormones. And then also we'll then share with you nature's natural Ozempic. And that's how I'm going to then complete. And then we'll be happy to take any questions. So I will pull up my PowerPoint here. Here we go. And can you see the full screen?
Yes. Sorry, I
Oh,
had myself on mute.
perfect, perfect. Thank you. All right. So today I'm going to be talking to you about natural, safe weight loss alternatives to Ozempic, and then also sharing with you exactly what Ozempic is, so you feel very comfortable by the end of today. Now, these are just some of the statistics for adults in the US. It's been shown that 43% of the adults in this country are obese, about 75% are overweight, 6 out of 10 Americans have a chronic disease, 4 out of 10 Americans have 2 chronic diseases, and 40 million Americans, that's literally 1 out of 10 Americans, has type 2 diabetes. So this is such an important topic. And then again, during COVID, you may have experienced this, I think most of us did, is that we may have put on a little bit of weight during COVID because the entire world turned upside down and there were so many different stresses and challenges. I want to assure you, you are not alone. And again, to re-emphasize, this is so important as well, that regardless of your size, of your weight, you should love yourself at any size. I can't emphasize this more than I can't emphasize this enough. It is so important. You should love yourself at any size. But also, I want to emphasize that the truth of the matter is we can't be healthy at any size. And that's my number one concern. And again, this is because of my own personal journey and what I've seen with the thousands of women I've worked with over the past 25 years. For me personally, the weight affected my health. It affected my confidence. It affected general relationships and my business because I didn't want to put myself out there. I was kind of shy then to do webinars, to be seen for many different reasons because of my own feelings of a confidence. So weight has to do with every avenue of our life. And that's why this is a topic that's very, very dear to my heart. And again, it's important to love yourself, but also love yourself enough to be at your healthiest, best self, and to remember to make yourself your number one priority. I can't emphasize that enough. To remember to say yes to yourself, and that may mean saying no to others at different times, but it's important to make yourself your number one priority and make sure you have your oxygen mask on first, so then you can help your loved ones. And this is another fact. As much as I said, oh, okay, I'm going to brush it off regarding how I was feeling about my weight, it was always on my mind. And this is what my patients have told me as well. When I looked in the mirror, I used to pinch my belly fat. When I looked in my closet and saw my favorite clothes hanging there, what seemed like forever, and I was wondering, am I ever going to fit into these clothes again? And then when you walk in a room, you think, are others judging me based on how I'm looking? So these thoughts can go through our mind. So I'm just going to share a little bit about who I am to give you a little bit about my background, just briefly. So I'm a medical doctor. My specialty is in internal medicine, and I have practiced integrative medicine and reverse aging medicine. I like calling it reverse aging medicine versus anti-aging medicine. I've practiced the integrative medicine at our family-owned center called the Chari Center of Health, and I have a virtual practice. I've done this for over 25 years and helped thousands of women achieve the health they deserve and desire. And my particular passion is in helping women who are 50 plus with proven, natural, and safe, effective solutions to help them lose weight, balance their hormones, have more energy, enhance their overall health, reverse their medical conditions, and look and feel years younger. That's what I'm all for all of these years. And I wanted to share with you as well my personal pictures. This is a picture of me before on the left with the yellow background and me currently. So again, this affected every avenue of my life. And that's why I'm so passionate about weight loss, balancing hormones, and really getting ourselves to the best of health. And I can tell you frankly, and this is what my patients have shared with me with their health journey, when they were able to lose the weight and balance their hormones and feel their best, is I frankly feel better now in my mid-50s than I did in my 20s and my 30s. And this is the absolute truth. And this is what my patients have shared with me as well. So what I've done is I've created a 5-step solution because there's too much confusion right now in this day and age with what to do, what not to do. For example, cut the fat out. Oh, and eat low fat. No, you need to eat only fat. Or less protein. No, you need to eat only protein. Or exercise. Oh no, you're doing too much cardio. So that can lead to so much confusion and chaos, which then adds to more stress. And then we hear about a latest diet plan or latest book or latest program. So that's why I like to break things down simply. And then it should be customized for each person because each and every one of us is unique. But there are definitely principles that any one of us can do at any time. So what truly affects our weight? Definitely what we're eating. And right now, the reality is in our air, water, food, soil, it's been contaminated with tons of chemicals and heavy metals and radioactivity. And it seems the list goes on and on and on, including electromagnetic frequencies. So all of this is affecting our health, especially our gut, which I'll tap into as well. And then exercise. And I have to remind myself to exercise too. It's something that's so important. Our human bodies are designed to move. And then again, toxins. I'm telling you, toxins are truly affecting every avenue of our life. And they're, of course, in processed foods as well. And all of this is ultimately affecting our gut health, the balance of good and bad bacteria in our gut. It's creating inflammation in our gut. And even the ancients over 5,000 years ago said the very first step to health is healing our gut. And they said this at a time when they had pristine water, air, food, soil. They were doing regular cleanses every season. So can you imagine now we have to do it on almost a daily basis to keep up with what we're being exposed to? And that's why we're developing food sensitivities. Why is gluten suddenly an epidemic? That most people, or a lot of people, I should say, have gluten sensitivities from children through the elderly. It's because of what's been happening to our agricultural industry and what's happening to our produce and to our grains. That's why we're developing all of these sensitivities. And then there's nutrient deficiencies because our soil is depleted. There's thyroid issues because of all of the mentioned above issues, insulin resistance, issues with our adrenals because lifestyle stress. Stress is huge. That's the other almost 50% of what can contribute to our weight because that affects our hormone balance as well. And then how we're sleeping, hormone balance. And then frankly, genetics are really the last issue. It's more epigenetics, which means how all of these environmental influences are affecting our health. So what is Ozempic? So Ozempic is touted as this miraculous weight loss injectable drug, but is it really? And celebrities are talking about it. The media is talking about it. So it's an injectable drug that you have to inject in your body every week. The problem, many drugs don't have long enough studies when they're initially approved. And the longest study with Ozempic has been about 68 weeks, which was done in 2021, which is about 15 and a half months in the New England Journal of Medicine. And you won't believe this, but one of these media stations, let's just put it that way, put out a couple of years ago, they said, when a new drug comes out, just take it because then you don't have to worry about the side effects, which may come out maybe 2 years later. Just take it anyway. So that's the most reckless way of looking at taking any medication. But again, I'll show you how, as they say, follow the money where everything lies. Here's the other key issue. Side effects with medications oftentimes don't even occur until 2 years later or even longer. So that's why you have to be careful when anything comes out and celebrities are talking about it and it's all over the media. If anything, I actually get more suspicious of really tracing back where this is all coming from. So again, Ozempic is the generic name for it is semaglutide. And these drugs are in a class called GLP-1s, which stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. So, and I've kind of circled here in this red, the generic name, and then there's two drugs, Ozempic, which everyone is talking about, and then Wegovy is another one. Ozempic was approved by the US FDA in 2017 for use in adults with type 2 diabetics. But I want to warn you now that now they're trying to get approval for children, teenagers, and kids even as young as 6 years old. This is really scary that even pediatric academies are saying that if a child is obese, one of the first things that they need to do is take Ozempic. This is terrifying, frankly. So just keep that in mind. So Ozempic is a weekly injection that helps lower blood sugar by helping your pancreas, which is a key organ in your body that helps you make digestive enzymes, as well as insulin in your body. And what insulin does is it goes down to your cell, kind of knocks on the door and says, okay, open up and let me come in here so that I can bring in sugar from the body into you cell so that you cell can make some energy. So that's why this drug was first approved for use in diabetes. However, Ozempic is not approved for weight loss. It's a famous side effect. So some doctors have been prescribing it off-label for weight loss. But because it's off-label for weight loss, Insurance companies don't cover it, and I'll go into costs of this drug in just a little bit. Then there's this other drug called Wegovy, and you're going to hear more and more about it as well. Wegovy was approved recently in 2021 for people who are overweight or obese. Now, people with obesity who are seeking to lose weight, they've also been turning to this particular medication, Wegovy, which contains the same ingredients that are in Ozempic. The only difference is Wegovy has been approved for weight loss. However, this is interesting. Even then, insurance companies won't necessarily cover it, and these medications are really expensive. And so they have a kind of a laundry list and a very strict list of who can get approved for even using the Wegovy for losing weight. So you might be thinking, okay, are there any benefits to Ozempic? So what it's essentially doing, it's controlling your appetite at the level of your brain, and also it's delaying your stomach from emptying the food that's in there so that you feel fuller longer. And if you're feeling fuller longer and the appetite control center in your brain is firing off, then you're probably going to eat less or take in less calories. So ultimately, what they're saying is the results people are getting from Ozempic is because they're eating less and taking in less calories. This is so important. That's why it's being touted as this weight loss drug. Some other benefits of Ozempic: it can lower your blood sugar both fasting and after a meal by stimulating your pancreas. And your pancreas, again, secretes insulin, and that helps with lowering blood sugar. It can also help make your cells more sensitive to insulin. But I'm going to share with you, there's other ways of doing both and having these benefits as well. The Ozempic can also make you feel full. And that's one of the key reasons people are losing weight. They're feeling full because their stomach isn't emptying efficiently enough. And so then they feel less hungry. I want you to also know that this feeling full in the stomach, that's also called, it's a medical term called gastroparesis. And that's actually, you can call it a side effect for those who have diabetes. They're not able to empty their stomach as efficiently. But this medication has that as a side effect, which they're touting as a benefit because food is getting stuck in the stomach longer. So people are feeling full longer, so they're not eating as much. So really what's happening with Ozempic, it's lowering their appetite to really low levels. So they eat fewer calories and lose weight. But here's just one of the problems with Ozempic: it's very costly. It's not covered by insurance to lose weight, and it can cost over $900 a month. And again, most of the insurance companies may cover Ozempic when it's prescribed to treat type 2 diabetes, but not for weight loss. And that's what a lot of people are trying to get Ozempic for, just for a quick, so-called quick weight loss. And, you know, they're paying this much money, over $900 a month, and they have to inject themselves every week. So you may be wondering, how much weight do they typically lose with Ozempic? From a 2022 study, they found that people who received weekly injections lost an average about 15 pounds after 3 months and about 27 pounds after 6 months. So this is about a 5-pound weight loss per month, just 5 pounds. And now this is something you may even want to take a picture of. If you know of anybody who's on Ozempic, they need to do the following. They need to eat a lot of protein each day and eat protein first in their meal. And they're calculating about 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal because, and this is very, very important, one of the most disastrous side effects, there's quite a few disastrous side effects, but one of them with Ozempic, a disastrous side effect, is muscle loss. About 40% muscle loss, which is actually also contributing to their weight loss, is that people are losing muscle. And that's why anyone on Ozempic has to eat that much protein, or even up to a gram per pound of body weight each day, to prevent that muscle loss. This is so important. And in addition, then they say that's very important for them to track their food. This doesn't happen much for anyone on Ozempic. Check their thyroid. And a lot of doctors don't check their thyroid before putting them on this medication. Sleep well, take care of managing the stress. And here's another key point. Please star this as well. Anyone on Ozempic needs to do resistance training at least 3 to 4 times a week. They have to do it for 3 to 4 times a week. Again, in addition to eating that much protein, to prevent that drastic loss of muscle, of lean muscle mass. And they also recommend also to walk after meals. And they said it's also very important to get DEXA scans and check your body composition, because it's very important to maintain skeletal muscle mass when you're on Ozempic, because again, people are losing a lot of muscle and they need to really carefully monitor to avoid losing more than 10% of their lean body mass. Very important. The other problem is the diets which are recommended for Ozempic are completely wrong. They recommend low calorie, low protein, low fats, which then devastates their metabolism even more, because as it is, they're not really eating and they're not getting enough protein, and they're going to have a side effect of losing protein and losing muscle mass. And your muscles are very important for maintaining your metabolism and your overall health. So this is very, very important to know. And other problems with Ozempic, it's a weekly injection. You have to take it for life. And this is according to the pharmaceutical company's description. And I'll show you why in just a minute. And it's not covered by insurance. The list price for a month's supply for Ozempic is over $900 and $1,300 for Wegovy. And even then with Wegovy, even though it's approved for weight loss, you have to meet specific criteria for insurance companies to cover it. The problems again with Ozempic, when you stop taking the Ozempic, people ended up gaining the weight back, and sometimes and then some. And again, we don't know fully the side effects and the impacts on the metabolism. It changes the dynamics in the gut, it thickens the bowel wall, and I'll share with you some of the more serious side effects as well. And we, as I always say, follow the money. And Callie Means, he's the co-founder of True Med. He said the following, that there was a special 60 Minutes special on Ozempic. But on that show, they had doctors that were paid on the Ozempic payroll saying that obesity is caused by genetics and not caused by choice. By choice meaning by lifestyle, eating processed foods, exercise, managing stress, toxins, etc. And then Ozempic has paid obesity specialists. The parent company of Ozempic for the last 30 years has paid $30 million a year in direct consulting fees to obesity doctors. This is not for research payments, but direct consulting fees. And it's on the cms.org website. So very important to know. Also important to know, 70% of the FDA funding comes directly from pharmaceutical companies. And this is something that I just found out, that the American Diabetes Association is also partially funded by the Coke company. Callie Means, again from True Med, also said, Ozempic has a potential to be one of the most profitable drugs in the history of the US. Now, does our body make this particular peptide, which is called GLP-1? Yes, it does. This hormone called GLP-1 is mostly released in your intestines, your small intestine, and your colon. It's also released by your brain, and it causes your pancreas to release insulin to decrease your blood sugar, and it inhibits high spikes in your blood sugar as well. This is something your body naturally makes. And then it's balanced by other hormones and peptides called GLP-2 and so many others. So when you eat, you activate the GLP-1 along with the other hormones, and then that tells you to stop eating. Here's what happens when you eat. There are stomach stretch receptors that stretch out and signal to your brain to stop eating. So this is why even when you go to all you can eat buffets and it's like, oh my God, I wish I could just keep eating and eating. But at some point you get full. It's like, darn, I wish I wasn't. I want to eat more. But your body has a natural balance to let you know when, okay, this is good to stop. Now, I'm going to Excuse me. So now I'm going to go into the side effects of Ozempic. Remember, there's no free lunches. In 50% of the people who take Ozempic, they have nausea. Some have vomiting or continuous vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, constipation, and then even malnutrition because they're not eating enough, because their appetites are so suppressed. Now, these are serious, life-threatening side effects of Ozempic. Gastroparesis, which is slowing or even stopped stomach emptying, which is literally called stomach paralysis, where the stomach cannot empty its contents into the next part of your intestines, called the small intestine. Another very serious side effect is bowel obstruction or paralysis of your colon muscles, and that requires surgery. And there have been a couple of deaths from people who took Ozempic who ended up having bowel obstruction. Other side effects include gallbladder problems, pancreatitis, which is inflammation of the pancreas, kidney failure, suicidal thoughts, because these peptides can actually influence the brain. And we're just learning more and more about it. It can also potentially cause thyroid cancer, and there's now black box warnings on that. And the deaths are rising because more and more people are taking it, and for longer periods of time. Sometimes this can happen even short term. So this is very important to be aware of. And also, again, with Ozempic, as I mentioned before, 40% of the weight loss is muscle, which is lean muscle mass. Muscle is where your metabolism is. When you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down. And then when you lose muscle as you age, then you become even more fragile. So this can be a problem down the road as well. And 65% of the weight people have lost with Ozempic, they end up regaining it, and sometimes even more when they stop Ozempic. And that's why they said it's a once-a-week injection, and they say you can't get off of it. So what's the solution? As you see in the center here, safe, natural solutions, eating whole, unprocessed foods, rich in fiber, with a balanced amount of healthy carbs, cooking as much at home as possible, or making healthy choices when you eat out, and avoid seed oils as much as possible. Detoxing your body, starting with your colon. You should always start any detox with your colon, and you can do that simply by eating more fiber. There's probiotics, there's magnesium, there's different herbs, and I customize it for each person because I really feel each person is unique with what may be beneficial for them. But here's the other very important key: addressing emotions and stress. There's different techniques, and there's even other technologies that I use as well. And counseling, and so many beautiful women on FemCity do wonderful counseling with regards to the emotions, which is so, so important because that drives our behavior. And then making sleep a priority, which is so important. Moving your body. I like isometric exercises. They're muscle on muscle. And then walking, of course, is very important. And there's different exercises as well, but I like to keep things simple. And then what I'll talk about now is nature's Ozempic. One herb, which is nature's Ozempic, is berberine. There's others as well, but I thought I would just tell you very briefly about that. So this is kind of an overview. Now, nature's Ozempic is berberine. Now, the key to berberine is cycling it. And you can take it, it comes as a supplement, take it for 2 to 4 weeks on and then go off. But it's important, even though it's herb and natural, not to take it continuously. Even in nature, things are done in a cycling way. So again, just a reminder, don't take berberine continuously. So here are just a list of some of the benefits. It makes your, excuse me, it makes your cells more sensitive to insulin, lowers blood glucose levels, stimulates weight loss, maybe not to the same degree as some of these other supplements or, Ozempic, but still. And my last point here, I said it was mild to moderate weight loss. It also decreases the waist circumference. It can help to balance your gut microbiome, help to get rid of parasites, lowers cholesterol, decreases body mass index, and it increases your serotonin level, which decreases your appetite. It also naturally elevates GLP-1 and GLP-2. And Ozempic is just focused on GLP-1. Remember, nature always likes to balance things out. Some potential side effects of berberine are abdominal pain, diarrhea, constipation, and gas. And it can be beneficial for the liver and decrease scarring of the liver. But if taken continuously, it can be quite strong on the liver as well. Now, comparing Ozempic to berberine, the cost of Ozempic, again, is over $900 a month, whereas it may be $25 to $30 a month for berberine. And other comparisons, there are potential severe and life-threatening side effects with Ozempic, whereas with berberine, some potential side effects are mild gut issues, which can pass as well. And if you take berberine with food, that can help minimize that as well. But again, that's why even with berberine, I say take it on and then go off of it like that. And then also, here's another visual. Ozempic comes as a needle, and look at this beautiful bowl of berberine, which comes from the root of many different plants. All right, so if you would like to learn more or to connect with me, I would love to connect with you. Please visit our website, which is charicenter.com. That's my last name, Chari, Chari, center, CENTER.com. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So there are a couple questions that came in. Hopefully you guys can stay a couple more minutes. I know we went over time, but I just watched that documentary on Netflix about gut health. And so I think that's a really great, and I love that you mentioned that. I'm sure we're going to get questions from our fans as to where to buy berberine and also fiber tablets. Like, do you recommend those? Because I know sometimes you can't get the recommended, I think it's like 25 to 30 grams of fiber a day. And also probiotics. Do you recommend a certain brand for the berberine fiber tablets and probiotics, or what should we be looking for when purchasing those?
Absolutely. So I would say definitely get it from a health food store, or do not get any supplements from Amazon. There's a lot of adulteration taking place. I know of people who bought things on Amazon and ended up getting heavy metal poisoning. So I don't have any particular brand favorites, but I would say just to even go to your health food stores and ask them what have they seen the best results with in terms of with berberine. And as far as fiber, juicing is great, but I actually use a NutriBullet or Magic Bullet to blend my veggies with the fiber. So I'm getting all the nutrients, so they're extracted from the veggie, plus I'm getting the fiber, and in a most natural way possible. And I eat a lot of salads, tremendous amount of salads, and eat a lot of vegetables, at least 7 to 8 different types of vegetables a day. I'm not perfect myself, but as much as I possibly can. And especially in this day and age, because it's hard to digest and absorb, because with everything in our environment, that's why juices are good, but juices with the fiber.
Okay. All right. So there are some more questions. When the food sits in the stomach longer, does that produce more toxins?
Yes, so exactly. What happens is the food is not able to break down appropriately. And usually what happens is people are not having and making enough digestive enzymes and hydrochloric acid because of all of the list of things I mentioned before in terms of stress and toxins and everything we're exposed to. So when that food is sitting there longer, it can cause for an overgrowth of bugs, especially if the food isn't being broken down and a person's not making enough acids and enzymes. And so what happens is then when the food finally makes its way into then the small intestine, where a lot of absorption is supposed to take place, you're getting not properly digested food that's making its way down there. So you're not going to absorb all the right ingredients, and you can get an overgrowth of bad bugs, parasites, bacteria, yeast, etc. And then that leads then to a whole host of other issues too.
Okay. All right. So another question came through. Does it stop? I'm assuming it's Ozempic. Does Ozempic stop your body from making GLP naturally?
Well, your body, it may, see, this is what is still unknown. We're
Mm.
still very much in the early phases of really seeing the effects. And that's what scares me. When anything focuses too much on one particular pathway, other pathways get affected. And this can happen even with other things as well that we ingest. If the body is getting it externally, it may stop making it on its own. That doesn't mean that you don't take other remedies. But what I'm trying to say is that we really don't know. We really don't know. And that's what concerns me.
Okay. And then I think this is the last question. I'm going to go through to make sure I got them all. But how much berberine do we consume? Is there a certain milligram that we should start with?
Yes. So the range they give is anywhere from 500 milligrams to 1500 milligrams. I tend to be more conservative because berberine can cause some gut upset. So, and I would say even just start with 500 milligrams once a day with food. You can always go up to 500 milligrams twice a day. But again, with berberine, even, I would recommend taking it for 2 to 4 weeks on and 2 to 4 weeks off. It's not something that you necessarily have to take continuously, but you can still get the benefits from it.
Okay. Do they sell those things at Whole Foods? Like, is that a good, like when you say health store, is that like a,
Oh, yes,
okay.
absolutely. At Whole Foods or, well, in Florida, Sprouts, and even frankly, other
Yeah.
countries. Yeah, countries, other states. Um, you can, yeah, and any local health food store should definitely have it.
Okay. Any other questions, ladies? I know we went over 8 minutes. Any other questions? And you have Dr. Rupa's information as well, so you can always reach out to her if you want. Okay, question. Is there a way to boost your metabolism? Mine is so low, I can't reduce my calories enough. Any advice?
Yes, because it's not necessarily just about reducing calories. What may be happening is the cell, there may be toxins. What they're finding is if our thyroid is affected or our hormones are affected, it may not necessarily be just because it's a lower amount of hormones, whether thyroid hormones or our female and male hormones. It could be because the keyholes in our cells are blocked up and they're blocked up with toxins. So when we start gently detoxifying the body, then the body can work better and the energy and metabolism will be boosted. Oftentimes, if our body senses danger or a lot of stress, either physical or emotional, or usually both, then the body kind of not goes into hibernation, but energy wise, your body, divine intelligence will say, we need to slow down and keep our energy intact to deal with the most emergent organs, the most important organs, and the situation we're in. That's another reason too. There's several reasons that could be happening.
For when you say detox, do you mean like removing food from our diets for a couple of days, or do you mean detox like a powder form, or?
Well, it could be several things. It could be looking at food sensitivities, seeing what a person may be sensitive to that's causing a lot of inflammation in the body, but also just because of all the buildup of toxins from everything, from every angle, we need to take different herbs, and that can vary person to person for cleaning out the colon. Any detox program should always begin with cleaning out the colon first, because otherwise, when people are taking these parasite cleanses and candida cleanses, but the bowels aren't working well, then that can lead to a backflush, literally. And so that's why the first step is making sure the bowels are moving. So then the liver says, oh, okay, now I can dump into the colon and we can really clean waste out. And that way you can minimize any of the detox side effects like we see with rashes or headaches or joint pain, and so on that can occur.
So great. This is so great. You guys good? Any other questions? Okay. Mandy said I removed alcohol. Go ahead, Mandy. Take it away. I was reading your comment.
That's okay. It's just that that common thing that's like work out more or remove alcohol, or like we get all these, like you said at the very beginning, all the kind of bad advice. And I did not mean to raise my hand. I'm so sorry. And it's interesting that if you're not answering the problem your body has, you're not going to solve it, right? So like I removed alcohol completely. I eat all whole foods because I have a food allergy. So I cook everything for myself. And we eat very, even organic. We're very organic focused. I was swimming 5 times a week, 45 minutes a day, and I lost no weight. And I went to my doctor, and my doctor's office answer was Ozempic. And it was the most horrible journey I think I have ever had in my life, because I had all the bad side effects and did end up in the hospital. And really, I think the answer is to figure out what is actually wrong, right? What's the real problem inside my body? So been a really interesting conversation. Thank you, because it validated everything I went through. So it was not, I was like, okay, yeah, it wasn't just me. It's not, I'm not crazy. But it really is. I need to figure out how to get my metabolism in a happier and healthier place. And it probably is a rest and removing threat. So
I was going to add to that. I used to do spin class every day, Mandy. I'm a former personal trainer, certified personal trainer, and former certified Pilates instructor. I was training so hard with spin, with cardiovascular. Like I was addicted. I'm still addicted to cardio. But I just pulled back away from that and lost 17 pounds because I was training so hard with the cardio that stepping away and then lifting heavier weights and having 2 days rest has helped me so much. So I don't know. Everybody's different, like you said. Like I wear a glucose patch, and for me, believe it or not, drinking a little bit of red wine brings my glucose level down a little bit. I'm not saying to drink glasses and glasses, but a little 3 ounces. I've been able to track my glucose because I got Hashimoto's also, and it just goes a little bit low. So it's been this song and dance that I've been doing, like trying to figure it out. So you're not alone. Like I think we're all after a certain age, it's kind of like, what is happening to my body? So I see Tracy's hand up as well. I think I saw your hand up, Tracy.
Yeah. I'll just say I'm going through my own journey. I've done all of those things, like eat less, cardio, and like nothing's working. Why doesn't anything work? I've always been athletic. Why aren't these things working for me? And it does help to hire a coach or hire somebody, because I actually just did that. And she gave me this visual for me. It was the best thing in the world. She's like, if this is your food intake, or this is your food intake down here, and this is your energy go, you're working out and just all that. In between is stress. And we need that little bit of stress. Obviously, like we work out to lose weight, we need that little bit of stress. But what happens is the more we do cardio, and the less we eat, now the stress between is too big. And that causes our body to hold on to everything. So you think you're doing all these things by lowering your calories and increasing your cardio, but you're making the stress worse, so that your body's like, whoop, we need to keep this. We need to, now I'm like eating all the time. I can barely get in all my macros all the time. I'm doing weight training more instead of cardio. That stress is like here again. And now I'm just like losing weight. And it was a huge eye opener to me, because I was doing all of those things and it was not working. I'm like, well, I'm just not going to lose weight. I was about to give up. And so I just wanted to share that. And I'm like so happy, Dr. Roopa. I thought you were going to, or Dr. Chari, I thought you were going to, when you started talking about Ozempic, I thought you were going to say like all the reasons why you should do it. And I didn't know even how bad it was. So I was so happy to learn all of that information. And I texted my daughter-in-law and it's like, please tell me you're not doing Ozempic anymore. And now I'm going to like share all this information with her. So I really appreciate it.
That's so great.
Thank you.
Dr. Roopa, Georgiana is asking, do you take insurance?
Oh, so for the past 25 years, I've been out of the insurance model, but I'm an out-of-network provider, so I do give everyone a super bill that they can submit to their insurance carrier, and then the insurance carrier, depending on their policy, would directly reimburse them.
Awesome. Thank you. And she's part of our Founder Circle community. She's in the directory. You can always reach out to her to book some time with her. This was so fantastic. It was better than I thought it was going to be. It's great. Great conversation. Great questions. Yeah, it was really great. And I'll look to see if I can find the burpery. Oh my gosh, can't even pronounce it. I will look to see if I can find one, and I'll post it for you guys if I find one that has good reviews. Okay. All right. Bye, everyone. Dr. Roopa, thank you so much. This was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.